If you're a leader in the Jewish community, you know there's this quiet tension that comes with pretty much every marketing decision. How do we stay true to our core identity while also bringing new people into the fold? Well, this isn't just about tactics. It's a really deep leadership challenge. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the insights of strategist Rochie Popack, who has spent more than 20 years helping Jewish organizations wrestle with this exact question.
What if it feels too Jewish? I mean, that's the question that stops so many leaders right in their tracks. As Rochie Popack tells it, this came up in a real school open house meeting, and this one simple phrase is just loaded with fear and a ton of assumptions. It's this moment of doubt that we're going to unpack today, because what's hiding underneath it, well, it changes everything.
And that's because, Rebbe argues that what looks like a simple marketing dilemma, do we promote the challah or the STEM expert? It's not really about tactics at all. It's about the courage of our convictions. It's about the clarity of our leadership. It's about what we really, truly stand for.
So let's get into it. For over 2 decades, Rochie Popack has been right in the middle of these conversations. Her firsthand experience is going to be our guide as we explore how this one unspoken question really shapes so many crucial decisions.
This is the classic debate, right? Do we lean into our unique Jewish identity, or do we offer something that feels a bit more, universal? The goal is always the same. We want to attract more people. But as Rochie points out, the question we should be asking is, what part of ourselves are we willing to hide to make that happen?
So what is really going on behind that phrase, too Jewish? It's not just a casual comment. It's a signal, and it's pointing to something much, much deeper. Let's actually deconstruct what that fear is about, because understanding it is the absolute key.
And Rochie Popack insists we have to ask this question head-on. If we misdiagnose the problem here, our solutions are just going to fall flat. Because it turns out, parents aren't actually afraid of Judaism itself.
Okay, this slide really reframes the whole issue. Just look at the left column. That's what we think the fear is about. Challah, Shabbat, Hebrew songs. But now look at the right. That's the actual fear. It's not about the rituals. It's about these really fundamental human needs. Will my child feel like they belong here? Will we be judged for not knowing enough? And this one's huge. Will this school actually prepare them for the future? Or are we going to sacrifice academic rigor for Jewish values? That is the real concern.
And here it is. This is the crucial takeaway from all of Rochie's experience. Trying to avoid Jewish content doesn't fix any of these underlying fears. In fact, it actually makes them worse. When we hide who we are, we rob families of the chance to truly understand what we're about. We leave them guessing, and you just can't build a community on guesswork.
So if hiding isn't the answer, what is? Well, the solution isn't to hide, it's to reframe. It requires a really profound philosophical shift in how we think about and talk about Jewish education itself.
Rochie grounds her entire approach in this foundational teaching, one that the Rebbe emphasized for every single Jewish child. The whole key is in one Hebrew word. The Torah is a morasha, an inheritance. Let's really unpack what that means.
Think about it. An inheritance isn't something you have to achieve. You don't pass a test to receive it. It's yours by right. It's yours simply because you are part of the family. This single word changes everything. It means belonging comes before performance.
This slide just illustrates the two worldviews so perfectly. On the left, you've got modern education as we know it. It's a test, a ladder you have to climb to prove you're ready. But look at the right. That's a worldview built on inheritance. It starts from a totally different place. It says, welcome. This is already yours. We're just here to help you access it.
So that's the big, beautiful idea. But how does this philosophy actually translate into a real classroom? Let's go all the way back to that simple challah bank and see how this worldview of inheritance completely changes how we talk about it.
So how do we explain this to a parent who's worried about academic development? Well, Rochie's advice is simple. We have to stop talking about it as just a ritual and start translating what's actually happening for their child.
So when a child is kneading dough, they're developing fine motor skills. When they're following a recipe, that's sequencing. That's math. They're building their vocabulary, they're practicing patience, and they are being given real responsibility. You see, the Jewish context isn't some barrier to learning. It's the very medium through which all this deep, multifaceted learning happens.
And this right here is the core insight from Rochie Popack. The child isn't being tested. They're being trusted. Trusted with the ingredients, trusted with the process, trusted with the core assumption that they belong. This is how you build real, lasting confidence.
So the challah itself, is really just a window. It's a window into an entire educational philosophy that sees every child as capable and worthy for the moment they walk in the door. And that belief, that sense of trust, has to be consistent in everything we do.
Which brings us to the final and maybe most important part of this whole conversation, your mandate as a leader. Because this isn't about one event, it's about building an entire culture of clarity.
Because if you talk about trust and belonging at an open house, but your admissions process feels like a high-stakes test, parents are going to feel that disconnect instantly. This philosophy of inheritance has to be the thread that runs through every single tour, every email, every interaction. Consistency is absolutely everything.
And this all boils down to the fundamental question that Rochie Popack urges every leader to ask themselves. What is our goal here? Are we just trying to attract families, or are we trying to help them understand us? One is about chasing numbers. The other is about building a community.
So here's a super practical test you can use today straight from Rochie. Before you hit post on that next social media update, just ask yourself this. Is this post transactional, just trying to get a click or a sign up, or is it relational? Is it actually helping families understand who we are and what we believe in? Because the ultimate truth that Rochie has learned to trust over all these years is this. Real, sustainable growth doesn't come from hiding who we are. It comes from having the courage to articulate our identity with clarity and trusting that what we offer is deeply, deeply valuable.
In the end, this was never really just about marketing, was it? It's about leadership. And when leaders choose clarity over comfort and choose understanding over just simple attraction, they don't just fill seats. They build strong, trusting communities that actually last.